Hello and welcome to Video Revealed. I'm Colin Smith. Let's talk about shared LUT locations for Adobe video apps. A LUT, which is a lookup table, is a way to map certain colors to another group of colors. There are 3D cubed LUTs, there are 3D LUTs, you'll find them everywhere. You can also use .look files. .look files come from SpeedGrade, but they also come from the Lumetri color panel. You can save all of that information. The big difference between a look and a LUT is a LUT cannot have any localized information. So you can't isolate a face in a LUT and save that. The LUT is the overall change of color. A look can have an overall change, and it can have localized colors, masks, and gradients, vignettes on it. All of that can be saved in a .look file and applied. Now that's not new. That's been around for a while, and you can download thousands of great looking LUTs out there. The issue was trying to get them into something like Premiere Pro or After Effects, and Adobe has finally standardized on one common location where you can drop them all and you can access them from that same place. Let's go have a look. In Windows, if you go to your PC, local disk, program files, Adobe, you'll find a common folder in there, and that's where we're going to put the folder. On the Mac, it's in the Library, Application Support, Adobe, Common, and this is where we're going to add the same folder. So we need to create a folder, and it has to be named LUT, uppercase, and a lowercase s, LUTs. Inside there, you have to create two different folders. First one is Creative, and the next one is Technical. Whatever you put in the creative will show up in the creative part of the application. So I'm going to take a whole bunch of LUTs here, and I'll copy them in. And in the technical ones, I'm going to put some of my camera LUTs in there. Okay, now if we go back to Premiere Pro and you had Premiere Pro already running, if we go to the color workspace, and if we look in the creative section and look for those LUTs, they're not going to show up. So you can't have Premiere Pro running. So you have to quit Premiere Pro and restart it, or just don't have it running when you're installing those LUTs. Okay, let's start up Premiere Pro again. Okay, back in Premiere Pro, if we look, there's a whole bunch more of these LUTs showing up. Now, before I use them, I've got three very, very different clips here. Incredibly warm and saturated, very neutral, and this one also warm. So I'm just going to jump into my color match, which I've got a tutorial for. And for the color match, I'm going to use this guy as the match to the motorcycle shot. So I'll apply that match, just neutralize it a little bit. And the same with this one, apply that match, and I'll start from there. Let me get out of comparison view. It's always a good idea that if the clips are meant to have the same kind of final look or LUT or style, then they should be fairly balanced, fairly neutral before you start adding a LUT. And for that, I'm going to apply the LUT to an adjustment layer. I'll make some room in my project panel and create an adjustment layer. I'll drag that on, open that up. And I'll select that first before I go to my Lumetri color. So I showed you that I made two different folders. The technical one would be in the basic correction input LUT. And this is where they would show up. And you see it shows up right there. I would apply that only if the camera was shot with something like log. So if you're shooting like I'm shooting right here, which is the Blackmagic has a film setting, and it would be very neutral and also very flat, not a lot of contrast. And I would do that if I was going to shoot something that I wanted to color grade and do some serious work. In this, I've got a specific look that I apply in Premiere Pro all the time. So I start with just a regular video look, a Rec 709 look. So I don't need this. But if you did shoot with something like Alexa or S-Log or Red, and it came in as you know, very flat, then this is where you would apply your input LUT. And that's why it's in the basic correction. It's in the very first part of where you're going. And too many times I've read posts where somebody would say, hey, there's 2 places to apply a LUT or a look. Wrong. The first one is not for the creative section at all. It'll accept it, but it's just the wrong place in the pipeline. Don't worry about that one. We get into the creative section. I'm going to select my adjustment layer, and here's where I can start grabbing all of my LUTs. And now when I apply it to the adjustment layer, it's going to apply to everything in this whole clip. And the same with any of the standard ones from Adobe. If you haven't tried some of these out, anything that's labeled Fuji by Adobe means that this is a film LUT. And this was created based on the understanding of that particular film. So Adobe emulated the input, the processing, and the output of a negative, of like the film negative, and they created a digital version of it. So this is way beyond like an adjustment layer in Photoshop or levels and curves. LUTs are extremely powerful, and they hold so much more data, and they can do so much more with your image. And they're fun to play with, you know. So you can see, if we look at the scopes over here, and I can turn this on and off, you'll see what's happening here. The whole thing gets raised up, the blacks get raised up, and we could go and pull those back down, but that's what that particular film stock is doing. And that particular film stock is much more saturated and higher contrast. So lots of different ways of looking. And I'm just going through these here, and you can see that I can apply them very easily. So this location here, this creative location, is now going to be in other applications too. So if we go to After Effects, if we add the Lumetri effect, if we go to Basic, there's our input LUTs. Go to Creative. There's all the ones that we added. So there you go, one common location now for Adobe video applications for all of your LUTs and .look files. By the way, all the videos in this tutorial were provided by Adobe Stock, the premier supplier of stock images, video, illustrations, motion graphics, templates, and 3D objects. Find the perfect asset for your next creative project. I encourage you to go and look out there and find a whole bunch of LUTs. There's tons of free ones, there's paid ones. Be careful of some of the free ones that haven't really been checked. If they do crash Premiere Pro, it ain't Premiere Pro's fault, it's that gosh darn LUT. They can be created improperly and cause problems. All right, if you're new to Video Revealed and you found this informative, take a moment and subscribe. You want to support us a little more, you can join us. We're making it very easy through PayPal. There's a link in the description and one on the front of the channel. You can use your PayPal account, credit card, debit card, support us monthly or a one-time donation. Until next time, I'm Colin Smith, and it's my job to get you looking